All right, hello. I hope you all are doing well today. I'm going to start off by saying I'm recording this on the 12th of October, Thursday. So if there's any new developments in the Hamas, Gaza, Israel situation on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, they will not be covered in this since I recorded this prior. So, I hope you guys are all doing good. I want to say a little rest in peace to all the people that have died in Israel and Gaza and whatnot, either whichever side's in the right or wrong, there seems to be some level of cycle of hate happening in that area. And if they were born somewhere else in the world, maybe maybe they would have had much better lives and stuff like that. So, rest in peace to everybody, regardless of who they affiliate with. But yeah, I'm going to start off with the Israel-Palestinian stuff. I'm going to go into some prehistoric carvings later on, and then I'm going to finish off with black holes. And I'm going to get obviously the shittier stuff out of the way, or the war stuff out of the way right now. So I'm going to start off with the history lesson so we can kind of understand what's going on a little bit in Israel and Gaza with everything that's happening. In 1948, there was a large number of Palestinians that fled or were forced out of what's currently known as Israel, and they landed in Gaza, which was owned by Egypt at the time. So there was already, way back then, 7 years ago, there was already problems between the two. 1967, the Arab-Israeli War. Israel captured Gaza, the West Bank, and East Jerusalem. I'll have a picture of where these are because it's all kind of in the same area. But these are three locations that the Palestinians want to be merged as one state under, assumably, their own ruling. They want their own independence. 1987, Hamas was finally founded, and it's the first Palestinian uprising which occurred in Gaza. So Hamas already started brewing some stuff back then. That's when they started. 1990, you had the Oslo peace process, which began the talks between Israel and the Palestinians. It resulted in an established Palestinian Authority that was given limited autonomy in Gaza and parts of the West Bank. So at this level, they were given a little bit of power, a little bit of authority over those areas to be their own country, I guess, in a way of saying it, their own state. 2005, Israel withdrew its troops and Jewish settlements from Gaza after there was a second, more violent uprising. And then further on, as of 2007, the Gaza Strip has been ran by Hamas, the Palestinian militant group. They won the majority of seats in a Palestinian legislative election the year prior, and there hasn't been an election since. So Israel and Egypt have imposed blockades after Hamas took over Gaza, essentially, and Israel controls Gaza's airspace, territorial waters, population registry, and commercial crossing, which is obviously problematic for Hamas in running their own state. The reason for all this is Hamas and other militants can't import weapons. They don't want them to have a bunch of weapons. So they kind of blockade them from every direction, essentially. Some people say that's a violation of international law. It's a toss up. I don't know much about the international laws. And Hamas has noted their advances were retributions for the worsening conditions for Palestinians living under Israel's leadership in the Gaza Strip. Hamas states the blockades are making the financial situation in Gaza quite bad and they want to prevent it from getting worse. I read somewhere as well that there's like a 50% unemployment rate in Gaza. It's a pretty densely populated area as well. After Hamas's attack, Israel declared war, obviously. Presently, there's over 1,000 deaths on both sides, so it's around 2,000 overall. And the health ministry in Gaza states more than 5,000 people are injured, and there's an estimated 250,000 people have been made homeless, and they've been living around like schools and in hopefully safer areas so that they don't get hurt. So I'm just going to move on to prehistoric carvings now, which is kind of cool. But yeah, that's war and stuff. There seems to just be a cycle of hate, and it's just going to keep on going, and they estimate that the war's only going to get worse. So the animal footprint carvings in the Doro Nawas Mountains, which is situated in western Namibia, that 90% of them are so accurate that local indigenous tracking experts can identify the species, the sex, age group, and even which leg the carving was made from. There's a total of 513 carvings being looked at by researchers and indigenous working together. While most carvings are preferred to be around giraffes, rhinos, and leopards and that sort of thing, there's typically a preference for fully grown animals, and there's typically a preference for males rather than females. I don't know if it's because they're bigger, or if it's because that's what they want to set as a standard when they were carving on the walls or whatnot. We'll never obviously know. In these exhibits, though, there seems to be more human prints than in any other areas, which are mostly kids in this case, and they found an unusual absence of domestic animals and reptiles. So I guess typically there's a lot of reptiles and like I'm assuming cats or dogs or something. I don't know what kind of domestic animals they had back then. These engravings are also from the late Stone Age, so they're around 50,000 years old, which is pretty old. It also shows us the animals who are still in the area and others who are no longer there, giving us a glimpse into what was potentially the area way back when. So, I mean, if there's, let's say there's lines painted on the wall and there's no more lines in that area anymore, well, you knew there were probably lines back then. So it's a little bit of a glimpse into the past, right? So it's pretty cool. I'm going to move on to the black holes that spin, which is, I think is pretty cool. A Chinese-led team of scientists, which included researchers from Japan, Italy, and USA, sifted through more than 20 years worth of data from radio telescopes around the world to uncover the first decisive evidence that black holes do in fact spin. The specific black hole they found that spins resides in galaxy M87, which has a bunch of other names and stuff. I think one of the names is like Virgo or something. A galaxy with around 15,000 star clusters. That's not the specific word they use. It's something else, but I'm just using star clusters because it's way more easy to understand because I'm not an astrophysicist. And that's 15,000 star clusters, right? And you just compare it to our galaxy, which has around 150 to 200. It's a pretty big galaxy, right? Like, it's massive compared to ours. So it is one of the biggest galaxies in our local universe, as they state. They state that the black hole completes a full rotation in about 11 years' time. It also spins with a tilt, similar to Earth. So it's not exactly on a perfect x-axis or whatever. It's spinning, but it's a little bit off. A discovery like this was only possible due to telescopes and astronomers around the world working together and to better understand our universe. So if we didn't have a bunch of people from different sections of our planet with different telescopes pointing at stuff in the sky, and if they didn't put their data together, we wouldn't have these sorts of discoveries. We need the collaboration of everybody when it comes to the universe and understanding how we sit in said universe. The black hole is similar to Earth as it spins, and it has a precession. Now, precession is a little bit like a wobble, I guess, but it's a very specific wobble where it's kind of like when a Beyblade almost stops spinning. You'll see that it's like there's technically a spinning motion at the end of it because it's going like side to side, like it's almost like rocking and spinning, I guess. So I put the picture there. You'll be able to see the arrows spinning for Earth, and then you'll also see that top thing at the top, which actually results in like our Polaris North Star will eventually no longer be pointing north. It'll be a little bit to the side until it comes back around. But that precession that Earth has takes around 26,000 years to get that like full wobble going, which is pretty cool in itself. The black hole that we're talking about here is the same with the famous picture we got several years ago on the internet where it had the first black hole official picture or whatever. I'll put it on the screen obviously, but it's that pretty famous one that everybody's talking about. So I thought it was cool that it was the same black hole as we once saw many years ago. And they also stated that black holes apparently some spin at light speed, which is really fucking fast, if I'm not gonna lie. That's a fast spinning orbit. And yeah, that's pretty much all I had to cover. I talked over the Israel-Hamas situation, prehistoric carvings, which were pretty cool, and then yeah, just the discovery of a black hole that spins. So if you liked the video, if you have any comments to say about the video, I'll answer them. I swear to God, I'll answer them. Fun comments, bad comments, whatever, I'll answer them. They're hilarious. There's some trolls and shorts. I love it. And yeah, you guys have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.